What's up, everybody out there? How you doing? Thank you so much for clicking that thumbnail over here, Peppielaview. I appreciate your support. I really and truly do. I want to welcome you, new viewers, returning viewers, and you subscribers. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'm looking for a soul man to cover real quick because I haven't talked much about them, and I was trying to figure out, like, do I want to talk about a soul man from the 80s, the 90s? Do I want to do them in the 2000s? Like, how do I want to do all of this? And anywho, long story short, I thought of a particular artist, a younger artist who's out and very popular. And I started to check out his music, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I finally get to a song, and I'm like, oh, he sings this song, this particular artist. Anywho, so I might go back and talk about him, but he does have a very popular song out. It's probably old, but me. Anywho, so went back and forth, and finally, I don't know, Jamie Foxx just said, hey, check Jamie Foxx out. And so I think I had some time to kind of get into my Jamie Foxx field, with him, his name, and all the things going on around him in social media and everything. So I just figured, well, check his music out. I have not owned a Jamie Foxx album. I have not, or single. And I think I'm going to find out, but I think, didn't he have a song out? We did Mother Finest, Love Changes. I think he did. But anywho, we'll find out. I think he did. So let's talk about his first album. His first album looks like it was released and I just finished listening to it, was released probably in 1994. I could be wrong, but I think the album was released in 1994. And it's very typical of that time. We're going to talk about it. He wrote the majority of the songs on the album. Like, if he didn't write the song, he co-wrote the song. So he pretty much had a lot to do with the writing of the songs. And I think it has him listed as executive producer as well. And he released it on Foxx Records, which is not affiliated with Jamie Foxx. It's a part of 20th Century Fox. Fox Music is. And I'm not quite sure if they had any artists out at the time. I'm pretty sure they're pretty much known for releasing soundtracks. I don't know if this is Jamie Foxx, if he's the first solo artist over there like that. I'm not quite sure. But I will say, as I said before, listening to this album, I almost went back into like a time capsule. I did. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this album is so of the times, like a particular music style. When I was listening to this album, I don't know why, but Eddie F., I think they call him DJ Eddie F., he came to mind when I was thinking about this album for whatever reason. And let me see here. If I am not mistaken, I just want to make sure. Yeah, the kind of like DJ Eddie F. I was thinking about, I get names confused. Is it Kenny Smooth? Those guys. Oh gosh. I was thinking a lot about Changing Faces. If you remember Changing Faces in 1994, their first album, I thought about this album. And I was like, this is just so Changing Faces to me, like the whole entire album. And I was, when I started to look at the writer's credits, and I wanted to see, like, who did the album? Like, was Eddie F., or I think his name is Kenny Smooth. I think that's his name. But anyway, on Changing Faces album. But anywho, that's what I was thinking of when I was thinking about that, this album. So what I decided to do is I decided to just go down and see if I would like his first album? Well, let's start with the singing. Well, he can sing. It is what it is. I think the thing with Jamie's voice is that they really didn't try to stretch him at all. And it probably, I'm just saying, it probably have a lot to do with the fact that Jamie wrote all the songs on the album, which means that maybe this is his first time out writing, songs, getting a feel for himself as a songwriter, as a singer. Sometimes when you're first starting out, you don't know what you can and what you can't do. So sometimes you're probably afraid to, stretch it because you don't know what you can or can't do. As I said before, the album is definitely of the times, all right? In that particular sound, if you will, that was occurring. Maybe like, no, I don't get Jodeci, but I get a Jodeci vibe. Like I said, a Change of Faces vibe, all of that from the album. And I'm not quite sure about the producers on the album as well. I don't know if this is just their first time producing or whatever, but I will say the album is not a slouch. Another guy that came to my mind when I was listening to this album is not only was I thinking about DJ Eddie F and Kenny Smooth and Change of Faces, but another artist came to my mind when I thought about when I was listening to this album, and that would be Danny Boy. Danny Boy over there at Death Row Records. I was like, okay, this reminds me a lot of Danny Boy as well. But overall, in general, as I said, great. Well, I would say a decent album, a decent first attempt. And I would have to say that there's a track on the album that I think would be my go-to if I had purchased the album back then, and it's track 9, and it's a song called Summertime. I like it a lot. It's just what it is. It's my favorite song on the album. Now, the first song when it came out, Peep This, is the title of the album as well as the first track on the album. And it's like I said, it's not a bad album, but something about, Jamie Foxx and a comedian, something that they were talking about in the song, like you hear this voice, him saying something about Jamie Foxx, is he a comedian or something like that. I just kind of like, oh, okay, I get it. I see, how you're trying to play off things, but I don't care too much. I didn't care too much for them putting that in it. The second single, I think it's called Experiment. Yes. When I heard Experiment, the first person that came to my mind was Aaron Hall. I was like, this is definitely an Aaron Hall song. I could see Aaron Hall singing this song. And then that's when I thought about it. And I said, okay, Jamie Foxx, you're sounding a lot like Aaron Hall. But of course, if I say Jamie Foxx is sounding like Aaron Hall, then I say Aaron Hall is sounding like Charlie Wilson. I would say Charlie Wilson is sounding like Stevie Wonder. And R. Kelly, he's in the mix up and all of that stuff. You get where I'm going? So he definitely has that sound. As I said, just not really stretching it out for me or even taking a risk with the production. And the thing about it is that here's another thing that I kind of dislike about some albums, not all of them, but some, is that track, it's kind of like they stay with a particular track, excuse me, production, and then you hear that throughout the whole album, which causes you to kind of get bored with the album. It's like, okay, it's almost like I've heard it now. I don't want to hear this song again. It's kind of like I get out of all the 12 songs, it's like it's just one big song from track 1 to track 12. Nothing. That's the way a lot of albums are. Okay, it's not a diss to him at all. It's just that that's the kind of feel. Like I don't think that they tried to stretch out any elements. Now there was a song, I think it's track 3. Track 3, Miss You. Now here is what I guess I'm giving you an example of. Like for track 3, I like the opening part of track 3. It looks like it's about to be kind of like a slow song, and then all of a sudden, like I said, very typical of the time. It's it's a slow build, and I think that that's how the song is going to be. It's a slow song, and then all of a sudden they go into this up-tempo song, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear this particular intro. I like that intro a lot, enough for it to be, a full-length song. It is what it is. Infatuation, of course, is the single that was released on this album, correct? And I like Infatuation. And let's just get right to the singles that I do like on the album. So I like track 2, which is Experiment. I like track 4, Doghouse. I like track 5, Infatuation. And I like track 8. No, I like track 9, which would be Summertime. So I think, like I said, overall in general, Jamie Foxx, it was a very good effort. And I think you should check it out. Basically, like overall in general, you won't be disappointed. It's just that it's not a hit song on it, and it definitely showcases Jamie Foxx talent that he can definitely do it, and I will find out with the next album. I think he has another album out, right? Like he has more than one album out. Like I said, I'm getting into Jamie Foxx from a music standpoint. So it looks like he has several albums out. And so what I'm going to do, as I said before, I'm going to listen to them. And as I said, let you guys know what I think about them. So it will be a while, it looks like, before he releases his next album. And it looks like, I didn't know that. It looks like his other albums are released on J Records. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Oh, yeah. That's interesting. Now I know I'm going to listen to his music. I might have a lot to talk about. I'm just saying. J Records. Anywho, so congratulations to you, Jamie Foxx, on your first effort. I do. And so what I am looking forward to is seeing how he has evolved as a songwriter, as a singer, see what he's about, and move on from that. So I hope you have put your behind where your heart desires to be. I hope you're doing that. That's what we're doing over here. That's what I'm doing. I'm here to tell you, put your behind where your heart desires to be. And also remember, whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. Okay. I love you out there. Thank you so much for your support. I feel it. I'll be feeling the love right back here at you. You all right? And I'm looking forward to seeing you next video. And until then, you know what to do. Take care of yourselves out there and check out Jamie Foxx. First album, peep this.